Few days ago I had a dream. In it I was about 9 or 10, or maybe 11 years old. My hair was long as it hasn't been for years. We were in a familiar place. I think it was my grandmother's home. Maybe my childhood home. The dream had a feeling of relaxation, and I don't remember anyone speaking. Mom combed my hair, and I laughed as she did. My father looked at us, in silence, smiling. I woke up anxious, despite the peace I had felt while asleep. The bus has finally arrived in Rovaniemi. I am waiting for the next one to Luleå, inside the station, sitting on a dirty bench. The enveloping atmosphere of the bus, the comforting landscape of trees after trees, shadows from yellow to red to brown, the muffled radio sound, the soothing bumps of the road, has been replaced with people coming and going, busy, distracted, catching buses, getting off them. A text message from Kalle. His usual words. Hey. If I know him well, he just woke up. I am eating licorice, one after the other, a whole bag of them, and I suddenly feel very restless. It's the dirty bench, the noises around me, and Kalle. Why is he not asking how I am? I go from restless to upset in a second, and I call him, on an impulse, as everything I do lately.
Hi there. I just woke up.
I do know him well.
Are you eating candy? Eat something else as well.
He also knows me really well. We're young, but sometimes we behave like an old couple. Hearing him say that feels reassuring, and I feel less upset. I don't feel upset at all, in fact. My feelings do change so fast.
Are you nervous? Or are you taking it easy?
It's the second time this morning I hear this question. But before I can choose between the two alternatives he proposes, I hear another beep on my phone. I'll call you back in a second. It's a text message from my father. My train arrives at 15:31. Meet at the HolyMonkey, Asian restaurant inside the station. My father writes as if he would be a wreck. Always in a hurry, without a plan. Since I texted him asking to meet, we have chatted about the logistics. Where and when. His texts haven't revealed much of him, nor I could truly know if I was waiting for something to be revealed to me. Ever since he left, 11 years ago, every time I think about him, every time I'm forced to speak about him, to a new friend, to a new boyfriend, in a conversation with mom sometimes, every one of those times I become mute, deaf, and blind. I don't see the past. I don't hear his voice, and I don't know what to say. When someone innocently asks about my parents, do they live close? Do we see often? Are they together? Are they alive? I become ashamed. Not this again, I think. I become numb, and I feel I'm put in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. I imagine everyone pities me. I call Kalle.
So?
He remembers I didn't answer his question about whether I'm nervous. I don't know. I feel heavy.
Heavy as...
Heavy as in... heavy with expectations.
Well, having expectations is better than having nothing at all. You're doing an important thing.
My expectations are not only heavy, but they're also really uncomfortable. Although this I don't say to Kalle. My expectations occupy my whole body. They fill up this bus station. My expectations are unwanted, for I would rather have none. But I can't help it. I can't get rid of them. They're like stones inside me. Really heavy. Really big. Really real.
Well, what are you expecting from seeing him?
The question lingers in the air and I don't know. The truth is, my expectations weigh a lot, but I don't know what they are made of.
There is one life before and one after. Before I became a father and after. Before I lost my memory and after. Those lives are divided by a solid wall, like the double-glazed train window that separates me on the bus from the foggy outside landscape. My memories are just as difficult to reach as the landscape on the other side of the window. And the event dividing my life in two, one before and one after, is a simple cardiac arrest. Of course, it's not simple. Life never is, nor is death, I guess. But apart from the unexpected event of my heart stopping, who knew it would cause me a brain injury and memory loss? Linda told me about the day it happened. I had been outside for a run. Yes, I have. Life is unfair sometimes. I guess there are plenty of men in their 50s who don't give a shit about their health. They are smoking cigars, eating goose liver and avoiding to ever lose their breath. I've never been one of them, says Linda. According to her, I have always loved to move.
You like the air pushing through your lungs to get your muscles wet,
says Linda. I look at my belly decorating my waistband like a muffin. Really? I, a happy mover? I kind of like muffins, vodka of course, and even goose liver, that's for sure. Anyway, that day I was going for a run, and I must have felt a little lightheaded, so I decided to take a shortcut and return home early. I didn't quite make it to my house, and for some reason I ended up in front of my neighbor's door, Pam.
She wasn't happy about seeing you. It had been just a year since you ran over her dog, so you weren't on speaking terms.
Linda told me.
You were all purple. She was about to slam the door in your face, but you just fell over the doorstep, with your face first.
Luckily, Pam showed mercy with the murderer of her dog and made an emergency call. After a few minutes, the paramedics were over me with a defibrillator trying to resuscitate me. My heart had stopped and my brain was left without oxygen for several minutes. But suddenly my heart decided to show up at work again, and I ended up in the hospital in a coma. 4 days were enough to erase most of my memory. So when I woke up, my heart was working, just my brain was off. Wee! I got my head checked by a jumbo jet. It wasn't easy, but nothing is. No, wee.
I know I expect something. To feel, maybe? To finally feel after years of pushing down laboriously, stubbornly, every thought and feeling. I expect to melt, when I see him. I don't expect the father, and I don't expect answers. Or do I? I expect I'll feel like yelling at him. And I expect I'll feel like hugging him. I say none of this to Kalle. Instead I say, I'm curious, I guess.
You've been curious for a while.
Chatting with him sometimes feel as if I would be chatting with the Cheshire Cat. He echoes my words, but with added wisdom.
Linda says I did it on purpose. I ran over the dog on purpose because of its constant barking. I can't remember. I remember though that I loved my best friend Thomas' dog when I was a kid. Roxy was a German shepherd. One day, Roxy, Thomas and I were rolling and scrapping around in their living room. Roxy pulled me back. I stumbled over Thomas, and suddenly that huge Japanese vase was on the floor in 1,000 pieces. Thomas' mother was not amused, to put it mildly, but Roxy and I had fun. And just some decades later, I ran over my neighbor's dog because it was barking too much. That's why it's awkward between Pam and I, says Linda. I can't recall any of that. I can't imagine being that person. I can't even imagine liking that kind of person, a dog hater. I've always liked dogs. I liked Roxy. I still like dogs and I like Pam. I think I like Pam, her bum especially. Dirty babe, you see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. I'll let you whip me if I misbehave. It's just that no one makes me feel this way. Oh, a message from Linda.
I miss you, honey.
Okay.
I get a sandwich and a coffee, and I sit down at the shabby cafe outside the bus station. It's a tiny place, and a family sits at the table next to me. A woman and 2 small toddlers. Her phone rings, she picks up, and before saying anything else, she says,
Come ASAP. They are all over the place.
She's referring to the toddlers, I assume. She looks maternal but fierce, and fiercely she wipes the youngest child's mouth. The oldest toddler, he can't be older than 4, has calmed down from running around. He sits down, and she cuts a piece of bread for him. She's got it. The situation is under control, and whoever she had called didn't even need to hurry. But he has hurried as he enters. The father, I suppose. They kiss quickly. He smiles at me when he notices I'm staring at them. Everything in the table seems messy, loud and rushed. A pile of dishes, uneaten sandwiches, half-empty, half-full cups of yogurt. Yet they seem so happy, so collected in their chaos. Every time I see a family, I feel lonely. Under the table, my left hand meets the right hand. The left hand presses the right, gently, uninterruptedly. I live surrounded by trees, by forest, and by reckless water. I live with Kalle and with our dog called Nipsu. I am surrounded every day by the children of the daycare I work at. They fill me with noise and happiness. I have friends who live close by. I live far from my mother, yet I feel close to her. We talk often. So my left hand keeps pressing my right hand, saying, I am not lonely. I am not lonely. I call Kalle again. I just wanted to add something. It seems like he's waiting for me to continue before he says anything. Well, I just wanted to say that this feels like a task.
Seeing your father feels like a task, you mean? Well, maybe it was a bit of a rushed decision.
The family in front of me becomes secondary, like extras in a movie. Well, what do I fucking know? All of a sudden there's a rush inside me, urging me to unload all my loneliness on someone. And the safest one to do so is Kalle. We start fighting, mildly but surely. Why did you say that?
Hey. What do you mean?
Is that how you're supporting me?
Hey, calm down. What is it now?
As with every petty fight, it escalates. It's long, 35 minutes long, and at the end I don't know what we were fighting about anymore. When we hung up, I am at the verge of tears. I walk back to the bus station and my second bus has arrived. I get in, hoping it's as empty as the first one.